Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm joined by the Sultan himself, Asael Adjoudj. How are you doing today, sir? You're in the midst of a camp for your upcoming fight at Bellator 291 against Liam McCracken, new opponent. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks to you. I really appreciate to be on your channel, SevereMMA. And yeah, everything is going well. The fight camp is going well. I'm training hard, and I can't wait to step in the cage again.
Nice, nice. I'm looking forward to seeing it as well, Asael. Look, I guess the first question I have for you, Asael, just curious about your entry into combat sports. Obviously, you had an extensive kickboxing background before making the jump over to mixed martial arts.
Yes.
When was the first time that you had a sparked interest in combat sports, or came to the realization that that's what you wanted to do for a living?
So I always did martial arts and boxing because back home my dad is a coach and he have gyms. So I always kind of grew up with it. But when I turned 13, I know that I wanted to be a pro fighter when I was in school and all. When they were asking me, what do you want to do in the future? I was saying pro fighter. And they were like, no, it's not a job. It's not possible. And I was like, no, no, that's what I want to do. So yeah, since I'm 13, that's what I wanted to do.
Was there any certain thing that maybe like made you sure that this is what you wanted to do, or was it just the fact what you said, your dad was a coach, it's been involved in your life for pretty much all of your life, really? Or was there
Yeah.
anybody that you kind of looked up towards or watched as a younger man, and kind of get inspired to kind of jump in and be a professional fighter?
Yeah, like I always really like hard worker, and when I was a kid growing up, I used to love to watch, for example, Floyd Mayweather. Just I know it's boxing, it's different, but just his work ethic, the way hard work and dedication, training hard, even when he doesn't have a fight, always training, no drinks, very focused, and just training. That's what I always like. And so when I was young, I was yeah, big fan of Floyd Mayweather. And then of course back home we had like before the DVD, it was the of the UFC one with like Royce Gracie, and so I always knew that MMA exists. And I always loved to watch it. And I was like, okay, for the moment I'm doing striking and all, but in the future that's MMA. I want to do MMA,
Nice.
and here we are now.
Here we go. Yeah, that's true. It's interesting that you say that your first interest sparked was through boxing, because actually my introduction to combat sports also was through boxing, and watching old fights back in the day, and obviously watching Floyd come up through the ranks, and personally I honestly feel that Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer that ever lived, to be honest, in my opinion. I think the art of boxing, for many might say, it's the art of hitting somebody, but boxing is actually the art of not getting hit, and I think that's
Of
what
course.
Floyd Mayweather has mastered so well. So I'm sure you've taken some inspiration, and I'm sure looking at your fights as well, you're quite elusive, so I see that you've probably taken up some tips from Floyd Mayweather along the lines.
Yeah, 100%. I always like the way he like eats without getting eat. Look at him. He's over 40. His brain is almost perfect, I think.
Yeah, maybe we'll
Didn't.
have to we'll have to change your name, maybe from the Sultan to Pretty Boy. Then Pretty Boy is still as shoes, eh? But for okay, so obviously I discussed about your kickboxing background. You wanted to be in combat sports. That was your entry into combat sports.
Yeah.
At what stage? Obviously, you got I think it was the videotape, the VCR of Royce Gracie and UFC one. At what age did you see that kind of tape, and did that spark your interest to move over to compete in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, so back home, like my dad used to have a huge, when where you put the stuff, and
Hmm.
so one day I just took one of the, what's the name of it again? Uh,
VCR, a videotape.
yeah,
Yeah,
the videotape.
yeah.
Just put it in the thing, and I saw that two people fighting in the cage. I must have been like, I don't know, maybe I was 7 or 8, and I was like, oh, that's great. That's what I want to do. And yeah, then for a few years I let it go. Like, for me it was like an old school thing. I didn't know that it was like still existing. And
Yeah.
then a few years later, I write on YouTube, and I saw that UFC, George St. Pierre, Nick Diaz, and all of these guys, Anderson Silva, and I was like, oh, it's still on to this day, so that's what I want to do.
Yeah, nice, nice. And you began training mixed martial arts over in France then, initially, is that correct?
Yes, yeah,
What
yeah,
what
yeah.
what gym could you join over there? Did you train under your dad for a while, or kind of mix it around at a few gyms before making the move? Obviously, and we'll talk about making the move over to SBG.
Yeah, so I train in the south of France, so where I'm from, near Marseille. So I was training in a boxing gym, in a karate gym, and just more or less for sparring, because with
Yeah,
my dad I was training like technique, pads, and all, but I needed to spar with other people. So I was going to different gym to get better and to, yeah, spar with good guys. So that's what I used to do, to move around. And then I went as well to the Netherlands, to Rotterdam and Amsterdam, to get
nice.
better with my K1, because yeah, I'm not doing like point fighting kickboxing. I never did that. I
Yeah,
only So back when I was a kid, I did a bit of karate and boxing, and then I turned into, for me, kickboxing is K1. So
yes.
K1 and Thai boxing. That's yeah, and
I
that's
remember
that's why I
watching.
went.
Yeah, I remember watching lots of K1 back in the day. Remy Bonyaski, obviously a big guy
Yeah.
back in the day too, and I always liked that style of boxing. What is it for you that attracted you to the Dutch style of kickboxing in comparison to maybe the Thai boxing and other styles of kickboxing that do exist?
Mm, what? I think it's just what I like. There is most of the time it's three trees, and it's just non-stop. You just show up, pop, pop, pop. It's fast. There is no round where people are trying to look. What are they going to do? I really like the, how can I say that, the explosiveness of it. Like how
Yes.
explosive it is, and no break. Three trees, you finish, you're dead. But it's most of the time it's entertaining, especially when back in the days the K1 was on. K1 World Grand Prix in Japan and all, even the heavyweights and all. It was so good to watch. Badrahi and all of these guys.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoyed watching those myself. So you got yourself into combat sports through kickboxing. You got yourself like somewhat mastering that kind of combat sport, and then you make the decision to jump over to mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
And you
when I
throw
was
your
19.
when you were 19, you throw yourself into a new world, and that's the grappling world. For you,
Yeah.
for you as a striker, how was that transition to moving from striking into the grappling and being, basically a beginner again in that department?
Yeah, let's be honest. The first 2 years were the worst for me, because I was in SBG. I arrived, I talked with John and all. He accepted me, and he was like, "Okay, come, you can come to the pro class." So I had no grappling experience, and I used to show up every day in the pro class and get destroyed by everyone for the first 6 months, first year. Then I was kind of able to survive a bit, and but the two first year were very hard, and then it got better. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's it. You have to start somewhere. So,
Yeah.
talk to me about the move or the decision. Look, at obviously, if you're going to get some expertise in the grappling department, it's kind of a bit of a no brainer over in that side of the world to make the move to SPG to kind of work with John Kavanagh. That was a probably an easy decision for you to make to kind of go over there to train full time, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, I think it's. I remember I looked in many, like a few gym, and I was like, oh, it looked like it's the best gym in Europe, and like Connor back then was, like at the top and all, and I was like, oh, that's where I wanna be, where I want to train, and so I just went there, and yeah, everyone went well. I talked with John, and that's it.
That's it. And at the early stages of your grappling, obviously you said it was a tough start for 2 years. What were some of the messages that were being delivered to you from John Kavanagh? Obviously, maybe not so much technically, but obviously it must be difficult for you to have mastered one combat sport and to come in and then not to be good in the grappling, and it's frustrating for a while and getting tapped out and everything like that. Was it difficult for you to process that, and what kind of help and advice did John Kavanagh give to you around that time?
Yeah, I'm not someone who's complaining a lot. So even if it's hard and all, I know before beginning, I know it was going to be part of the process. Like I never was like, oh, I'm why. Even if some of the day it was a bit hard, I never like complain or whatever. So I always ask him like for advice and all, of course. But at the end of the day, that's what he's always saying. If you keep showing up every day, you can only get better, and that's what happened.
Yeah,
Like keep showing up, training in the morning, training in the evening, twice a day, only grappling, wrestling, grappling, and it worked. So the
nice.
main thing was to not give up, and I didn't. So yeah.
That's it. Yeah, good for you. And here we
Mm,
are as well, as you said. Can you remember the first time that you tapped somebody out inside the gym?
no, I don't. I
Don't
can't.
remember. It's happening too much now, is it? Is that you can't?
Yeah, now I have a good jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Look at obviously it's a huge decision from your point of view to make a decision to move over from France to train full time in SPG. Are you living and training full time in the gym, or what are you? Do you have somewhere to stay else in Dublin, or you spend all of your time in the gym?
Yeah, I'm between a place and the gym. I mix it up, and yeah, yeah, going back and forth. When I don't have a fight, I'm going back to France in general, and yeah, I'm back and forth in Dublin. But when I'm in Dublin, yeah, I'm 100% focused in our like fighter house, and we just yeah, train, and that's it. That's the main focus.
Yeah, is it difficult for you to be away from home? Obviously, it is, but it's the sacrifices that you have to make if you want to make it to the very top. Is that kind of the mindset you take when you move away from home to go and train? You mentioned you moved to Holland before, over to the Netherlands as well. So it's something that you have been doing, putting yourself outside of your comfort zone and moving away to get better skills.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's not even a question. If I want to fight and if I want to win my fight, I need to be here full time. That's why even after my last fight, I went home for a week and then I was straight back in Dublin, training again twice a day. And for me, it's not even a question. If I want to, win and being at the top, I have to be here in Ireland all the time and keep improving, and yeah, to reach my goal.
So, in your amateur career, you
Yeah,
decided to go through the IMAF route. Uh, what was that decision made? Did you want to just get that international experience because you had the experience of fighting on a regional show as well? Which did you prefer? Did you prefer the IMAF experience or the regional experience?
the thing with the IMAF, it was very good because people are not picky. You just arrived, you have a lot of guys from everywhere in the world, and you have to fight them. That on the regional show, people were accepting the fight, then they used to pull out, and so it was very complicated to get match. People, I think right now it's very stupid. People think that the amateur career is as much important as the pro career, but it's not. Amateur is for experience, so we should all accept there is no easy fight or hard fight. Amateur doesn't count. In the professional rank, I understand sometimes that you have to maybe be careful and all, but in amateur, I don't know why. So for me, that's why I was very happy to go to the IMAF like that. People couldn't pull out, and it was hard for me because my first IMAF was like after 6 months of MMA. So basically, I have almost no grappling and no wrestling. And same thing, it was like what 10 months later, I went to the European. Same thing. I didn't have a great experience, a lot of experience in MMA. But for me, I'm not picky even for my professional fight. Look at my last fight. I took on the top guy. A lot of people will have not take this fight. And me, I was just like, yeah, no problem. I will take this fight. John knows me. He knows I never say no.
Yeah. Nice, nice. And you went on to medal in that Europeans, did you? You pick up a bronze medal in that, or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I took the brown medal. Yeah, bronze medal in the European. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, that's a good achievement after such a short time before going into the competition too. So
yeah.
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So
Thanks.
let's
Yeah.
talk about your professional career. You
Mm.
started off. I will never forget seeing your first fight because it was the first fight against Constantine on the Bellator 240 card. And I know myself and the guys at Severe MMA were talking as it was the most high level fight that I have ever seen from two debutants on the professional scene. That it was absolutely phenomenal. How did you, looking back on that fight? Obviously, you're unlucky to lose that split decision. It was a razor close fight. What were the
Mm.
big takeaways that you took from that? Obviously, Constantine, a fantastic fighter as well. You know, you must have been disappointed not to get a winning start, but obviously, you will learn some lessons along the way too.
Yes, of course. For this fight, my main focus was like I was like, oh, I have to stay on the feet, knock him out in the first round. I was young. I was 20, I think. Or I just turned 21. So I was very young. And for me, I was like, yeah, I have to knock him out as soon as possible. I don't want to go to the ground. And yeah, I just show up with the wrong mentality. And but I'm very happy that that's how how the fight went because I learned a lot. And straight after this fight, for the whole COVID, the whole lockdown, I only work on my wrestling offensively. Not I stopped only thinking about defense because defense doesn't make you win a fight. So I was like, now I'm going to attack all the time because I knew because in SBG, as we can see, we are very good like attacking on the fence, taking people down on the fence, get the submission. And me, I kind of knew how to do it, but I was never using it. So I just for the full lockdown, I just focus on that, work every day on that, twice a day with my friend back in France because I couldn't come back to Dublin because the gym was closed because of COVID. So I just train a lot, and then my second pro fight against Jessimer. That's what I did. I just wrestled. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to strike, wrestle. I'm not going to show up with the wrong mindset and think, oh, I'm only a striker. I can only do that, and if anything else happen, I'm going to lose. No, no, no. I can do everything. I'm well rounded, and that was the best way to but yeah, as I just said about the fight with Constantine, I don't regret anything. It was a close fight, but let's be honest, I give it to him. I don't even understand why it was split. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah, indeed.
I give it to him. I won round one, so round two was very close, but I still give it to him. Round three was his.
Yeah.
So I don't. I'm a good. I hate to lose more than I like to win,
Yeah.
but
Well, credit to you. At least you're honest with yourself to say that you felt that he won that fight. There's not a lot of people that would be able to say that, and especially in the split decision. But it
yeah,
was
it's
good to see.
painful. It's painful to say, but it's the truth.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, moving on to the Jesemir fight and also to the Azimov fight as well, it was a complete change. We did see your grappling. You got the ground and pound win against Jesemir. You got the submission win against Azimov. You must have been very, very happy with those two performances and to kind of go out there and showcase that you are a well-rounded mixed martial artist.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Moving forward, obviously your last fight against Jordan Barton was an excellent performance. There was only a brief exchange in the grappling department, but that finish was electric, to be honest. It
Yeah.
was a fantastic head kick, a fantastic finish, and I've seen a lot of emotion from you after that fight. What did it mean to get a win like that in front of the Dublin crowd?
For me, it was incredible, especially that I almost pulled out of this fight. Like me, I didn't want to pull out, but John was like, I don't know if it's a great idea because I hurt my rib very badly. I
Right.
couldn't even breathe properly. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't, when I was coughing, it was killing me. Like for the last 3 weeks, I almost like didn't train, and everyone around me was like, "Oh, you have to pull out. You have to pull out." I was like, "No, no, I can't. I cannot pull out." And so that's why after the fight, I was like, it was a
Yeah.
huge relief because I trained so much for all of the my summer. Then in the just before that, I broke my hand 2 times. I was like, I did too much. I trained too much to pull out right now, even if it was a very like kind of risky fight. I
Hmm.
was like, I have to do it, and then I have to get it done to show everyone that I'm at that level.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So that was the main
it's quite a
concern.
common it's quite a common thing, it's very rare that you do go in to a fight fully 100% healthy, but that's crazy to say you didn't train for a couple of weeks before that and had all those issues going on and were still able to put on a performance like that and get a highlight reel finish as well. Credit to you. When looking ahead to Liam McCracken, obviously it's a change of opponent from your original opponent. How Let's talk about the preparations first, because you're getting prepared along with a bunch of other different fighters in SBG to compete on the card, and you've done that time and time in the past as well. What's the atmosphere like in the gym? It must be a fantastic atmosphere when everybody is in fight mode, everybody is training and tuned in and turned on. It must help you kind of develop your skills, and it must help you get prepared for the fights really excellently when you're surrounded by people who are in the exact same position as you.
Yeah, 100%. To be around all of the guys in the gym, everyone fight around the same time. Um, so yeah, everyone is, we are pushing each other every day. So, and you have people like very good on the feet, very good in wrestling, very good on the ground. So there is a mix of people, especially at our weight, between bantamweight and lightweight. We are like, I don't know how many of us, like Kieran Clark, Nathan Kelly, Peter Quilly, Pedro Carvalho, and many more. Like, oh, so many top guys, good guys. We are here every day at 11 during the pro class, so you can only get better, and the atmosphere is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And you mentioned Pedro Carvalho. It was a question I was going to ask you, to have someone like Pedro there who is competing at the top of your division in the featherweight division, and last year was fantastic for him, some great wins. It must be great to have a training partner like that, like Pedro, and to have them at the same weight as you as well, to kind of test your skills against his and see how they compare. Do you guys have some good sparring battles and good kind of grappling exchanges, I'm sure, in the gym?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Especially we are kind of the same. Like very, we are like always. We always want to win our exchanges. So with Pedro, it's always good rounds. We push each other, and I really enjoy to train with him.
Nice. And he's in a similar situation than what you are as well as Dale. He's taking time away from his family. He's over from Portugal in Dublin as well. Does that kind of help your kind of relationship and kind of maybe a brothership, if you want to, because you're both kind of in the same position, you're both chasing the same goals as well?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And we are living basically together. We all like Pedro, the Italians, like Daniel, Nico. At the moment, he's not here, but yeah, we all live together. So it's kind of like, yeah, brotherhood. Everyone in the house. We wake up. We are ready to go to train. We go all train together. So no, that's very very nice.
Who's the boss of the house? Who's in charge in the house, making sure that all the chores, all the dishes are done, and all the cleaning and the washing is done as well?
All of the cleaning, all of that. The Daniele and Nicola are so how can I say so strict about that. Me, I'm not a good example. I am always forgetting stuff. So no, they are the good guys. Me, I'm a bit. I don't really care. I'm like always forgetting stuff and all.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's good that you have the guys to keep you in check there as well in the house, and that must be interesting, interesting place to be for sure. Let's talk about your upcoming fight, Liam McCracken. What do you think of him
Yeah.
as opponent? How would you describe his style?
Well, I think he's well-rounded, but he's mainly a grappler. I saw he was a BJJ brown belt. He looked, yeah, he looked good. He's 3-0 as a pro. He fought 3 times in 2022, but I will be his first real opponent because I don't think the first he. I don't say that he's not good, but his three opponents were not at his level. So fair play to him. He made it look easy, but it's not going to be the same story on the 25th of
In February,
February.
for sure.
I
What
will not.
problems?
I will not show up to survive, or you know what I mean. I will be here to fight and to finish him. So
What
that
problems do you think that you're going to give to him that he hasn't seen before?
the striking. He never fought someone like me on the feet, and people doesn't realize. But yeah, it's going. And now my wrestling is on point and all. So to take me down, is a thing, but to keep me down is something else right now. So it's that's what is going to be the difference, and I will like not give up.
If you're
Mm,
a prediction on how the fight is going to play out, what would your
mm,
prediction be?
me, I just see the fight going. Me like dominating on the feet. He's of course he's going to shoot. Is going to be his only option, and I do see myself defend the takedown, big elbows, and then my goal is to finish him guillotine or on the feet. Doesn't matter. Even a decision. All I want to do is win, but this fight will definitely not go for 3 rounds. Yeah, I think I will get the finish before that.
Perfect, perfect. Talk to me about fighting in front of the Dublin crowd, fighting in the Tree Arena. I had seen you had posted in the past that Ireland is your second home now, and the fans welcome you and see you as one of their own as well. It must be quite a thrill to get the chance to go out there and fight in the Tree Arena. It must mean a lot to you.
Yeah, it means a lot to me to fight in the Tree Arena. I'm so happy. The atmosphere is great, and yeah, I was very happy for my last fight to get a win there. Because my last time there was against Constantine. And so to get the win in front of the Irish crowd, and yeah, as you said, it's like a second home for me. So for me, it means a lot, and I feel like home when I fight in Dublin.
For sure. Well, speaking of fighting at home, Bellator announced during the week a Paris show on May
Yeah,
12th. Sure, that's got to get your head turned. So I guess the plan would be hopefully getting that win in February. Would you be looking to try and compete on that Paris card on May 12th?
yeah, 100%. That's the goal. Get it done the 25th of February, and then being on the cart in Paris in May. Yeah, that's the goal for me. But nothing is confirmed yet. Step by step.
For sure.
And
What
I
would
will
it,
be Sorry.
sorry, I was going to ask you, what would it mean for you to be able to fight in Paris in your home nation?
That will be incredible for me to fight yeah, in Paris, in Bercy, especially that's a huge arena. And I know like Bellator would see like the support that I have back home with yeah in France, and also a lot of Algerian people because I'm 50-50. My dad is from Algeria, my mom is from France, and so yeah, the mix of it in that's why I really want to fight in Paris in May as well, because it can be like yeah, a great experience for me to fight there.
For sure, and obviously, you want 3 fights this year. I've seen you say that. That's the plan. You want to get in there. You want to fight 3 times. As your progression moves up, what's your kind of goal? Is it to kind of get yourself into the rankings in the Bellator this year, and kind of work yourself into the top 10 coming into 2024?
Yeah, 2024, I want to enter in the top 10, 100%. And now I'm just going to finish. I have a few more fights on this contract. And then hopefully get a new contract. And yeah, then climb up to the ranking. Yeah,
Perfect,
that
perfect.
will be the goal. Yeah, that's the goal.
Well, it will be exciting to see you do that, Asael, and it all starts on February 25th, Saturday, 25th of February, against Liam McCracken in the 3
Yeah.
Arena again. You're going to go out there and hopefully put on a show as you normally do. I'm looking forward to do that as well. Before I let you go, we had a little brief conversation before we started. You're wearing the colors of Inter Milan Soccer Club right now. You said you were.
Yeah.
So, are you an Inter Milan fan, or you're from the Marseille region, if I believe?
Yeah,
Do
me,
you
I'm from Marseille, so I support Marseille and Real de Madrid, but I just like the tracksuit. I don't really support Inter de Milan, but I
cover the
really like
badge?
their tracksuit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I love soccer in general.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah, we spoke. It's big in France. You're obviously disappointed with the result of the World Cup, but it must have been fascinating and very exciting to see France get the run. They've been doing really well on the international scene for quite some time. Who was your favorite players when you were watching soccer?
So me, my favorite player at the moment is Karim Benzema.
Hmm. Brilliant player.
So that's why I was very annoyed that because something happened during
Yeah.
the World Cup with the French team, something weird happened. And they didn't, he got injured, but then they didn't let him go back to the team. So to be honest, I didn't even watch the other games when Karim Benzema weren't there because I was kind of mad that he couldn't play, you know?
Yeah, it was very disappointing and a big loss for France. And like yourself, I
Mm.
think Karim has some Algerian background and heritage as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's Algerian. Yeah,
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 nice,
he's a
nice,
French
nice.
Algerian as well. Yeah.
Nice, perfect, perfect. Well, hopefully, I don't know. I think himself and Deschamps, I don't think they get on too well. So I'm not sure. I think he retired from international football now. So I'm not sure if you're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
get the chance to see him again. So maybe you might you might not ever watch France play soccer again if he's not going to.
Yeah, that's annoying to be honest. But we will see. I might. Nah, I'm still going to watch it anyway because in France it's huge. Like when the
Mhm.
national team is playing, it's huge. It's just the atmosphere is crazy.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, you'll have plenty to cheer. France always are competitive on the international scene. You're going to be competitive, like I said, on February 25th, Bellator 291. You can catch Asael Adjoudj take on Liam McCracken in the featherweight division. I'm looking forward to seeing you compete, sir. I'm looking forward to seeing your rise through the featherweight rankings, and hopefully we'll get the chance to speak to you further down the line. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll speak to you soon, Asael.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you so much for having me today, and we will speak again in the future.
Thanks for watching this video on SevereMMA.com. For more wonderful content, please click the like, subscribe and notification bell and follow us on these social medias.